Hey YouTube, this is Prometheus giving you guys more than the meta. So I know a lot of people are always looking for ways to be more effective on defense, and I wanted to share with you basically how I run my defense. So I run a 34 odd defense. Typically I'll base a line, I play the ball and use option conservative and then aggressive tackling, and then I leave my zone drops all defaults, and then I actually go ahead and put on match as one of my options. So this is basically, those are my settings on how I use 34. I usually leave all the audibles the same except for the man. I switched that out to just basically cover 4 drop, and then out of the huddle, when I'm running defense, I'm going to use just a basic man blitz. So if I have an opponent that quick snaps me, I have a man blitz already set up. Right here he actually hits me with a couple of different crossers. Now I want to point out something. This opponent, from the day that I'm recording this voiceover, he is ranked 461 in the nation as far as his ability. So this guy actually, he's played, you know, a few hundred games online, so he knows exactly what he's doing and stuff like that. But I want to show you that, you know, if you have some type of a scheme in place against your, you know, when you're playing defense and not just jumping into different types of you know, plays or spamming one particular plays, you're going to be very effective. So one of the reasons I do come out of a cover 4 immediately is I want to go ahead and show that I have run fits. I'm going to go and stop my opponent. He has a nice little stretch run right there, and actually was able to pick up more yards than he should have on that. So I jump into cover 2 just to try to give him somewhat of a different look. Right here, I took my middle linebacker and put him into basically into a deep half. And because I've got cover 2, the defender's off on the right hand side, so the defensive backs are playing fits on the outside. So those outside runs are going to be taken away. So that's one of the reasons why I leave the cover 2 in there. Now, once again, if I get into a rush situation where my opponent is gonna hot, you know, he's gonna hurry up, that's why I have that man blitz, because man blitzes are so effective. But I don't want my opponent to think that I'm going to keep on running man blitzes against them, so that's why I run the coverage like this. So back to a cover 2 coverage. I think I actually was trying to play the sticks, but the problem with having match coverages is that you have to reset your plays, and he actually finds the gap right there. I actually played the sticks. The defensive back actually played the sticks, but because of what the way he's running this corner play, it was a perfect play against cover 2. I think what he read the alignments, and as a result, he's able to get a nice little completion to keep the chains moving. But I got up in a 4th down situation. One of the things when you're playing defense is that you want to make it extremely difficult for your opponent to run their offense, and they have to adjust to your defense, not the other way around. I'm not someone that likes to adjust to someone's offense. My preference is they have to adjust to my defense, and that's why I like the 34 odd defense, is that I always have pressure on the back end. Now, here's a situation where I actually just got a lucky animation. I went with an aggressive man blitz, and the guy actually popped back into a spy, and he threw, and the spy actually picked him off. So I granted that particular situation, that guy just made a bad throw, and as a result, I'm able to go ahead and get a ball and go up by a touchdown. So once again, back to the run right there. I just missed a tackle for a loss, so that probably would have been a 2nd and 12 if the edge defender would have tackled him right away. And the reason why I think that edge defender out there is just someone who's got a lot more speed, so he's not someone that is always going to make plays on the edge. So that's what I did. But I noticed and want to show you that I switched it up to a cover 3 shell just to keep him guessing. So 2nd and 2 situation, once again, I'm going to go with the aggressive man blitz. Pressure comes off the edge. He can't get rid of the ball. I think he was trying to throw it over the top. This guy keeps stretching the ball out. And that's what's cool about this. If you run into somebody who likes to throw deep bombs and all that kind of stuff, they're not going to have the time to get that off. These guys have to dink and dunk down the field. And a lot of players that just don't have the patience to actually use a grinding offense against their opponents. They want to get the one-play touchdowns and hit the corners and stuff like that. Here's a play where he missed his read. He actually had a seam wide open, but the way I had this defense set up, got the pressure set up, he actually picks up the blitz. He had a seam off to the left, but right here actually throws into basically double team deep thirds, and I'm able to go to get an interception. Now, granted, this is probably a little Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive love. But you can see right now I'm into the second half up 17-0 against someone that's ranked in the top 500 on regs, and this guy doesn't really have any kind of an answer to my defense whatsoever. So right here he goes with a run, edge set perfectly in that type of situation. I have a better defender off to the left, and then essentially just shuts down his running lanes with a strong close. And people have been using strong close for 5-6 years now on a religious basis, so people know how to run those formations. And this guy's ranked in the top 500, I'm sure, and he's played over 300 games. I'm sure that he knows his what to do with that. So right here I once again send the blitz, pressure comes off the edge. I've got fast defenders on the outside. He can't get rid of the ball quick enough. I put him in a third and 11 situation. And I think this is the corner play that he used earlier. He's got basically a stack set off to the right. He's got a corner off to the left, and he just doesn't have time. There's no way he has time to actually complete these passes because he wants to stretch the ball long. And here's the thing: is like you watch these pros in these tournaments, and they play a lot of these formations where they've got these stretch plays and they've got these C routes and stuff like that. They also have checkdowns with their offense too. They actually have crossers and inside routes and all that kind of stuff, and they're looking to that stuff first before they're actually looking for the C route, because anybody that's playing this game on a regular basis, basically they know that they can't get away with a lot of these long routes because they take time to develop it. So how this guy's got 300 games underneath his belt, and I'm just destroying him on defense is beyond me. He did switch. I do want to point out that the score is actually 31-8. He actually switched into a spread offense, and I didn't really have any kind of a solution to that. He probably should have stayed with the spread, but he tried to go back to his money plays, I think, after he realized the game was over with him. Right here, basically I go ahead and just pick him off again because it just kept bringing the heat against him. He didn't have anything to do with it. So here's another guy that I'm playing against. This guy's actually average. He's a 500 ball player, but he actually had more success against my defense initially than the other guy who was ranked 500. So rankings usually don't really mean anything. It's just more about volume games. If you play a few hundred games or 400 games in a span of a few months, you're going to be ranked up a lot better than someone that's only got like maybe 30 or 40 games online. So right here, this guy's very patient. He keeps waiting. He's waiting. He actually waits for the coverages to break down, and actually kind of hits me over the top. He's going to come back to that kind of a concept where it's kind of like a guy just sits and then he moves him off and hits it. Once again, setting up my defense. I like to use a cover 4 as a defense, and then I'm going to leave my sky and my cover 2. I don't like how the bumpers are set up. I wish they were inverted with the cover 2 and cover 3. For some particular reason, the way this defense is it's the opposite of what it's been for years. Right here, I can't get onto my middle linebacker. I'm having a hard time doing that. So fortunately for me, he decides to run on a 2nd and 10 situation, puts him in a 3rd and 7. And in this type of situation, I'm thinking I'm probably going to go ahead and send a man blitz against this guy because I want him to make a quick decision. I want to have people manned up. And he goes with basically doubles formation with a close set off to the right. He's got like a little wheel route off the left, and right here he actually hits an out route and gets a great animation with his wide receiver. He gets the ball down to the 15-yard line. He actually does some good juke moves. So this guy had some type of a skill set he was doing, but what I've noticed with this particular opponent against this 34 defense is that this guy had a handful of money plays and started becoming very predictable. Now in the red zone, typically what I like to do is I like to run a lot of cover 2 in the red zone, but I take my zone drops and drop them back to the goal line. So if I'm like 11 yards out, I'm going to do 10 yards. If I'm 15 yards out, I'm going to do 15 yards. If I'm 5 yards out, I'll do 5 yards out. I'm going to take my yellows and my sky blue zones. I'm going to put them at the goal line and force my opponent to go in and hit the corners of the goal line or hit the back ends of the goal line. But if they try to go ahead and take a play underneath, my guys are going to be right there at the goal line to go and stop them short. So right here, actually on a 2nd and 12, I've got to commit this. I got to admit this guy actually committed to the run. He basically didn't get away from it at all. 3rd and 7 situation, I go into cover 2. I think I reset my my zone drops to about 10 yards or so. I had a spy with one of my defenders, and look at that move right there. So he pulled the spy off a little bit and then threw the ball on the backside of the spy. Now that was Myles Garrett. Usually when you get a star player like that, you'll get a really good animation, but in that type of situation we didn't. So back at it again. Scores tied 7-7. I'm going to go ahead and reset my. It's one of the things you want to make sure you do is you want to be very conscious of your default settings. So I went ahead and reset my defense again on default settings. Going back into cover 4 shell. Basically, he tries to run the ball. I get a nice run fit with my defender. I didn't get picked up by any blocking. As a result, I'm able to go to him and tackle him for a loss. So second and 13 situation. Right here, I'm thinking sending some pressure. He comes out of a normal offense right here. And let's see here. I'm actually a man. I'm giving a tell with the man right there by putting my guys up, but you can see the pressure just comes in. He can't even get rid of the ball. And as a result, I put him in a 3rd and 22 situation. So he was using wheel switch. That was a previous play that he used where he actually got a really good animation and got that for like a 60-yard play. So this guy has a handful of plays. And he just doesn't do anything else. So here's a cover 4 quarters type defense right here. He makes the right read. He finds a seam, but look at the animation I got and just the reaction by this safety, who is just he's a mediocre safety. He actually has it and underjumps that and actually gets the ball back from me, so I'm able to go up another score. So basically right here we're looking at a situation where it's just basically I'm going after some pressure against him. So 2 minutes left. He comes to a play that he just keeps using again and again and again, and he keeps dumping it off to the running back. So this guy, from a predictability standpoint, and like the players that he likes to go after, is very common. So these are the type of players that they just have a set list of plays, money plays per se, but they don't have schemes built around those plays. And these are the guys that once they run into somebody that can pick up on those tendencies and has a memory, they're going to struggle with it. And I'll be very honest, I'm not somebody that has a phenomenal memory on like what type of formation or what plays that they like to use and where their reads are. I typically don't remember stuff. I just run my scheme as is, and sometimes I get a lot of other things going through my head. But this play action wide drag wheel, this is a play he's going to keep coming back to. He never runs the ball out of that formation. He just runs these schemes. So right now I see the same play he had before where he hit me for a big chunk yardage. So I'm going to go right to the running back. You can see me coming to the running back, and that's exactly where he throws. So he could have got picked off in that type of situation because I'm manning up that running back trying to take that away. So 3rd and 20 situation. He comes out of the Trey Y flex, and I think what he was doing, he was using verticals here. And I'm going to send the pressure. I don't want him to sit on the ball, but I realize the seam route, that middle slot receiver is wide open. So I take Myles Garrett and I actually run it. He lobs the ball perfectly. That's actually a good throw, good decision. But because Myles Garrett is a star player, he gets a SWAT animation and knocks the ball out. So 4th and 20 situation, I'm just going to go ahead and take my zones, play the sticks, drop everybody back, and I'm just going to let him get to the 20-yard marker. It's going to be very difficult. It's a very condensed area. It's a long area to throw. He should be taking some type of points in this type of situation, but this is a very risky move. So I'm just dropping back coverage right here, and look at the tight end. He throws the ball. He's able to complete it and get a touchdown. So what a lucky play. That is just like a lucky play that my defenders don't play it. He actually catches the ball. He doesn't drop and all that kind of stuff. So he got a little man of love on that. Very risky play. I'm up basically 2 scores now, but he goes right back to this play action sales route, and you can see my defender's still there. Didn't get picked off. It should have been a pick-off type situation. So he just kept coming back to the same plays over again. And because of that, I could adjust in what I was doing. I went into basically a cover 3 match. In this type of situation, I go once again with the man blitz. I got to take away that running back. Don't get the interception right there. I was right there. I knew exactly where he was going to go with it. So 3rd and 1 situation. He basically, got away with one. So I'm just going to watch what he's going to do. Now, I think in this type of situation, in this right here, he decides to switch things up a little bit with his offense, and I do the same thing. So he's in an empty set. The 34 defense is not good against empty. You got to get out of it. So I jumped into basically quarters. I didn't really have any kind of a plan. I had no scheme in place to stop basically a spread formation. I just jumped into a basic cover for just hoping that I get a play out of my defenders and stuff like that, and just make him make a forced read. He actually goes to a whip route, and my defender comes down and swats it down. So 4th and 1 situation. basically, if I get a stop here, this game's over with. He goes into a gun flex. That means I got a running back down into down by the quarterback. That means I can go into the set because I'm going to have 4 wide receivers. I'm going to go ahead and chase the running back. I peel off. He takes a shot up top, and as a result, my defender's there to go ahead and swat the ball away because this guy was just kind of throwing in the one-on-ones. He really wasn't making any reads, and that was basically about it. So, guys, this is my 34 scheme. If you want more information about how I run it, you can go to my Patreon. You can just become a member, and you can easily access to it. So once again, guys, thanks for support. Until next time.